Hello and welcome to Wednesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, and a puzzle that, well, I think it's just got a lovely, lovely theme as well as an arresting look to it. It's called Not All Who Wander Are Lost, and it's by Allagem. And I think the idea behind it was a Tolkien poem referring to the sort of ascension of Aragorn from the Ranger Strider to being the return of the returned king of Gondor. And I've got a copy of the poem here, so I won't be able to do this justice, but I'll read it very quickly to you. All that is gold does not glitter, not all those who wander are lost. The old that is strong does not wither, deep roots are not reached by the frost. From the ashes a fire shall be woken, a light from the shadows shall spring. Renewed shall be blade that was broken, the crownless again shall be king. Brings back memories of those films. Anyway, so I think the idea here is, you can see there is an enormous line in this puzzle representing the wandering that Aragorn did before becoming or returning as the king. Which I'm sure most of you know, and this is some sort of we have to divide the lines into segments that have the same sum, is basically the rule. It's got 4 stars out of 5 for difficulty on Logic Masters Germany, and it's been recommended to us a few times, and one of the testers had a look at it I think it took the tester quite a long time, but he told me that this is really brilliant. So I'm looking forward to having a go at it, and I'll read you the rules in a moment or two's time. Now, what can I tell you about before that? Do check out the stream we did on Monday night when we revisited the Blueprints Mansion for the 10th time. I won't give any spoilers about what happened, but I do recommend watching the video if you've been following along with our progress. And I'll try and remember to put a link on the screen to that, and I'm sure we will be returning, or at least I will be returning to the Blueprints Mansion at some point. I didn't have a chance yesterday to do any more listener solving, but I might get a chance later on today, so I am still intending to keep recording all of my various attempts over the many days it's likely to be of the puzzle Listen by Eck, and I will put those videos over on Patreon in due course. Oh, bobbins, I know what I've forgotten to do today. I haven't got the league table to hand for our competition for the month of August, which is running over on Patreon right now. It's a Sudoku hunt themed on the Persian hero Rostam and Rostam's labours. 7 puzzles in all. Thousands of you have been having a go at it, and I dare say by now probably close to 1,000 of you have finished it, which is terrific work. You've got until the 20th, so another week to go. The prize, such as it is the chance to solve a puzzle with me, and we'll record it, and hopefully it'll become a video on the channel in due course. Now, let me look at my list of birthdays. I've got birthdays to do today. Amanda, you've turned the big 4-0 today. I know this because your husband Barry wrote to us, and apparently you're in Stillman Valley, Illinois. And I'm told by Barry, Amanda, that you watch while rocking your son Wyatt to sleep. And you're not a fan of chocolate cake, so you're planning on having cheesecake, I believe, today. And that's fine. If you really can't abide chocolate cake, I would try lemon drizzle, though, as an alternative. If that has enough icing, it can be excellent. And Amanda, I hope you have a very good birthday today, of course. And my best to Wyatt as well. Next, Elsie. Elsie, your uncle, who is known to me by I think the pseudonym Chip Sounder. But Chip Sounder is also your godfather, Elsie. Wrote in and said, could I wish you a very happy birthday today? And I can indeed. And I think your uncle is suggesting you should have a very large slice of very heavily iced cake today as well. So Elsie, I hope that is what happens. I hope the presents are good. Many, many happy returns. Next, Madison. Madison, you've turned 23 today. I know this because your boyfriend Wesley wrote to us. I don't think Wesley watches the channel at all, but Madison watches every night before she goes to sleep, and apparently jokingly asked Wesley whether he'd sorted out the shout-out. Well, he has done it. He wrote in. So Madison, many happy returns. I hope the chocolate cake is good. And finally, not a birthday, but a marriage. Yasmin and Brody, many congratulations on your wedding last weekend, with a chocolate wedding cake, no less. That is fantastic. So yeah, I hope. Well, I'm sure you did have a great day. Oh, there is the thunder. The weather today is weird. So we're going through this heat wave again. Today it hasn't been as hot as yesterday, but it's been horribly muggy. So I'm guessing I'm sort of slowly stewing here in my Surrey attic without my fibre broadband until December 2026. Boo-hoo, and that's why the video was late yesterday. I'm so sorry about that. Anyway, let me get back to Yasmin and Brody. Brody, also, I'm delighted to hear you're a fan of Adrian Lenker and Big Thief. Anybody who hasn't listened to their music, oh my goodness, she is such a talented person. New album coming out soon, isn't there? I think there is. Anyway, Yasmin and Brody, many congratulations on your wedding. And that's all the news. Let's have a look at Not All Who Wander Are Lost by Allagem. The rules are as follows. We've got normal Sudoku rules apply. So we've got to put the digits 1 to 9 once each in every row, every column, and every 3 by 3 box. Each line can be divided into one or more segments, such that every segment in the grid sums to the same total. For the avoidance of doubt, this means that segments from both the 78 cell line and the 2 cell line is there, have the same sum. Right, let's just stop there and check that we know what that means. So we've got to divide, oh, is that rain? Please be rain. We've got to divide this enormous line here. Yeah, I suppose we could have seen that it had 78 cells, so I'm not going to bother counting them because this is a 9 by 9 grid. So there are 81 cells in the puzzle. That cell is not on a line. There's a 2 cell line there. So presumably every other cell is taken up by this line, and that's why it's 78 cells long. But we're going to divide this line into segments. So say that's a segment, etc., etc. And each of these segments will sum to x, as indeed will either, well, it depends. If that can, I think, from the wording of the rules, be a 1 cell segment, because it says divide each line into 1 or more segments. So either that's 2 segments, sort of that and that, or it's 1 segment, but whatever the segment sum is here is the same as the segment sum on the enormous line. And there's only one more rule. The digit in the grey square is even, so that's an even digit, and that's all. That's everything. Do have a go. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. But now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Okay, we'll put 2, 4, 6, and 8 in there, and I presume, he says, without actually having thought about it very carefully, I presume what we have to do here is do... Oh, actually, we're probably going to have to factor some very big numbers, aren't we? I mean, if that is... See, if that's 1 segment, that could be an 18 segment, couldn't it? If it was double 9. But if it's 2 segments, then the maximum segment size is 9, and that would be very handy, actually. If I was betting, I think that... I mean, this is an outrageous thing to say, and if it's proved right, it is just a hunch, but I think this might be double 9, and the segment size might be 9. Although I've just realised that can't be true. Actually, that can't be true. Right, okay. I think I am going to have to do some maths here. So, wow. Right, so there is a secret of Sudoku, and I'm going to avail myself of that briefly. and then extrapolate from it. And this secret is something I only share with my very favourite people. But of course, if you're watching this video, you're definitely one of my favourite people. The secret is that a complete box of a Sudoku contains the digits 1 to 9, once each, because of the rules of Sudoku. And if we add those digits, we get the number 45. So, we know, therefore, because each box of this Sudoku sums to 45 and there are 9 boxes, the entire grid sums to 405. That's what 9 times 45 is. Now, that's divisible by 9, obviously, because it's 9 times 45. This number is most certainly not divisible by 9. So what I'm thinking we have to do, let's say this was a 2. If this is a 2, every other cell in the grid sums to 403. And then if we factorise 400, I don't know if 403 is prime. Actually, I really don't know if it's prime or not. It might be prime, but then this might be 4, and then it'll be 401, and then we'll have to factorise that. And again, okay, the only one I can see is definitely not prime is if this is 6, and we're looking at 399. So maybe that's where we'll start. Because what I'm thinking is, let's imagine this is 6. Every other cell in the grid sums to 399. Now, there's going to be some astronomical number of segments, but it's got to have some relation to the factors of 399, doesn't it? So if we divide 399 by 3, I can see we can do that. We get 133. Now, is 130? I should know this. I'm so sorry. Is 133 prime? The answer to that is. The answer to that is no. Actually, I don't think it is it? No, it's not. I can divide it by 7. Oh dear, oh this is hang on, this is getting confusing. So what I'm looking at is, what's the number? 399. So let's put that in here. So there's just as an aid memoir. Now the factors of that are 3, 7, and 19, I'm going to claim. As the thunder comes outside. Come on, rain harder. Well, without thinking much harder about that, let's just consider what that might mean. So, for example, that might mean that each segment in... Oh, it can't be 19 from that one. Yeah, so if each segment added up to 7, for example, there could be 2 7s on there, couldn't there? And then there would have to be 57 segments. Oh, but hang on, where would you put a 9? Oh, okay, hang on, this is getting interesting. Yeah, okay, hang on, I hadn't realised this. But because there is a 9, for example, there is a 9 in box 1, isn't there? There is a 9 somewhere in there. And that's part of a segment. So I can't possibly have a segment size that's less than 9. So it was a silly idea to say, imagine each segment sums to 7. That doesn't work. So that means this doesn't work then. Because if I've got to increase the 7, so I could multiply it by the 3, which would be 21. So 19 is the minimum segment size. You could have 21 19s, or you could have 19 21 segments, but they don't work because I can't make either a 19 or a 21 segment along this 2-cell line. Oh, okay, this is already quite intriguing actually. So that means either 3, so 6 doesn't work. It means either 3 397, 401 or 403 can't be prime. Now, that's going to be a bit tricky, isn't it? I have no idea which one of these I think is the least. Let's try 397 first. So 397 would make this an 8. What is 397 divisible by? Definitely not 2. Is it divisible by 3? Do its digits add up to a multiple of 3? That is a trick, by the way. If a number's digits add up to a multiple of 3, that number is divisible by 3. I don't know how I know that. It's the same for 9, actually. If you add up the digits and they're divisible by 9, then the digit itself, or the number itself, is divisible by 9. So what are we thinking about? 397. No, that's not divisible by 3. 4, 5, 6, 7. 397. Oh, yeah. No, that doesn't work either. 397 is not, the numbers don't add up to 9, so we're now up to 11 at least. I'm not sure quite how high we're going to have to go here. 33, 397, remainder 6, 60, no, 11 doesn't work. 13, sorry if you can all, 13 doesn't work, 397, because 39 is divisible by 3 and 7 definitely isn't. 15 obviously won't work. 17 then. 34, 57, no, because 51 is a factor of 17. 19, 397 divided by 90. No, that doesn't work. How high do I have to go? I can't have to go beyond that, can I? Because I'm going to go down into because I know 20 times 20 is 400. So if I go to, say, 23, I'm going to get a number that's smaller than itself, and I should have eliminated that already. I suppose I might not have eliminated the primes, though. No, I would have found one. Let me just check anyway. 23 divided by 397. Remainder 16. 167 divided by 23. 2. No, that doesn't work. Yeah, it doesn't work. Okay, so it's not 8, I suppose. That's what we've just taken away from this. Let's try 4. If it's 401, is that prime? No idea. It's not divisible by 3, 4, 5, 6. It's not 7, maybe. 35. No, 7 doesn't work. Its digits don't add up to 9, so we can forget that. 11. 401 divided by 11. Not sure. 7. No, doesn't work. 13. 13 divided by... Well, okay, 39. No, that doesn't work. 15 won't work. 17 might work. 34. What am I saying? 401. 61. No, that doesn't work. 19. Sorry about this as well. I could have just looked up a list, but we don't do that on Cracking the Cryptic. We try and make our brains work. 38, remainder 2, 21 doesn't work. And then we're getting too big again. So if 2 doesn't work, I've misunderstood the puzzle completely. So now we're looking at 403, which feels like it might be prime again to me. Okay, but it's not divisible by 3, 5, 7. No, I don't think it is it? Have I just messed this up? 35, remainder 5, 53 just doesn't work. 403, its digits don't add up to 9. 403 divided by 11, 33, remainder 7. No, that's horrible. 13, 403, 39. Oh, hang on, that might work. Hang on, let me just do that again. 4. Yeah, that does work. 403 divided by 13, I think does work. So 39, remainder 1, and that's right, 31. Right, okay, I'm writing that down. So 13 times 31. That would be lovely, because that would make this have to be a 13, because clearly those two can't add up to 31. So let's just check whether there's anything else then. Well, there won't be, will there? They are both prime. That's it. That's the only thing that can work. Right. So this is it. This is it. It's taken me a little while, but this is it. 13 and 31. So this adds up to 13. And that's one of the 31 segments. And then we're going to split the Aragorn line into 30 segments of 13. Now, and how are we going to do that? I've got no clue. I don't know. It's going to be something to do with the fact, it's going to be the secret again, isn't it? It's going to be something to do with the fact that this line, every segment is going to be 13. So we're going to have 39. There's going to be 3 complete segments and then a rump of segments that can't be completed because the box adds up to 45. So there's going to be 6's worth of digits. That could be, there's going to be very many ways of doing that. It could be a solitary 6 here. It could be 2 digits that add up to 6, which would have to be 1, 5 now. Or it could even be 3 digits that add up to 6. And that would have to be a 2, and this would be a 1, 3 pair. Bobbins. That's very distressing. That's very distressing indeed. Okay, hang on, how many? Oh, okay, let's try something different then. I'm grasping at straws here. Why don't I do 2 complete boxes then? Because 2 complete boxes, the digits in 2 complete boxes sum to 90, and 90 is very close to a factor of 13, isn't it? Isn't 91? Or have I messed up my maths there? No. Yeah, 7 times 13 is 91. So that's very cool actually, because I think that's going to make this digit have to be a 1, because we know that we're going to have 6 complete segments within the indigo colour and 1 almost complete segment, because we can't quite get to another 13. We can only get 12 of that 7th segment. And so there is no choice but to just add 1 on. That must be a 1. And I don't know quite how to represent this, but, well, what we could do, what we'll do is we'll say there's a segment change here between this cell and this cell. And now, oh, this is really clever. This is really clever. Yeah, so let's go back to box 1. Because in box 1, we said there was a rump of digits that could be 3, 2, or 1 cell that sum to 6. Well, now it is only 6 that's possible. Because imagine that it was those 3 cells were summing to 6. How would we achieve that? Well, they'd have to be 1, 2, 3. And this would have to simultaneously be 1 and 2. Or both of those would be 3. It's nonsense. It doesn't work. Now, if it was a 2-cell sum to 6, it can't be that, because we can't do 1, 5 or 2, 4 now because of this 1. So the only way it can be is a 6 there, and this means we've got another change of thingy between those cells. This 6 is going to pick up some more digits, or it could be 1 digit, 2 digits, 3 digits. It can't be 4 digits because the minimum sum of 4 different numbers is 10. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. But there's going to be some total of orange that's extending down here that adds up to 7. And this is going to have to be at least 2 cells this way, adding up to 13 in this box. And actually, I don't like that. I think it might be better just to record breaks in the segments, because it's very hard to know, at least at this point, how long this segment is going to be. Okay, so what have we got going on in box 2 now? We've got the encroachment of a segment from here. We've got the even digit, so that's 3. So we know these digits add up to 42. So we're going to have 3 complete segments in there, which add up to 39, and then a rump of segment, which adds up to 3, which now can't be a 1-2 pair, because 1 and 2 have gone from the box. So that digit is a 3, and it is part of a new segment that's going into there. So this is really good. I think I can do that. I don't think that segment and that segment can be the same. Yes, okay. So this segment is going in here somewhere, but let's think about the remains of this. Because these segments up here are nothing to do with the indigo and the purple and the 2. They're completely separate, and each one of them, there's got to be 3 of them, so they've got to be 3 different 2-cell segments. Because they're going to have to be 4, 9, 5, 8 and 6, 7. It's the only way they can possibly be, because what are we going to partner the 9 with? We can't use 1, 2 and 3, so the 9's going to partner with 4. Then what are we going to partner the 8 with? It's going to have to be the 5, etc. So that is a segment. Oh no, that one bends. That is a segment, and this is another segment. So there are sort of 3 segments in box 2. I really like this puzzle. This is very, very cleverly set. Now, this one's going in here. No, it is going in here, but it's not just going for 1 cell, is it? Because we can't write 10 into that cell. So at least that is how far the purple's going. But it could well go down there, and even possibly a wandering after that. Well, actually, that's not true. That's not true, because these can't be that little anymore. Yeah, these digits add up to no more than 10. But they add up, because of what's gone in the row, they add up to no less than 9, do they? Yeah, in fact... right, here's the logic. There is a 4 in one of these, because if not, these would be a minimum of 5 plus 7. And that won't work, because once we've added 3, we're going to get more than 13. So there is a 4, and there's another digit. Now that digit could be 5, but if it wasn't 5, what would it be? It can't be 6, so it would have to be 7 again, and 4 plus 7 plus 3 is too many. So it is 4 plus 5, and that segment adds up to 12, which is a knowledge bomb, not 13. So this is a 1 to complete the purple segment. It's the only way it can possibly work. And now I bet we can do something with the rest of this box. Hang on though. Look, we've got 7, 8 and 9 to place in row 3. And box 3, we've got 9's worth of digits that are not included in any segments. So 45 minus 9 is 36. So 36 is not enough for 3 segments, which would add up to 39. So it must be 2 segments that sum up to 26. And then a rump of digits that add up to 10. So this digit can't be a 9, because if this was a 9, the rump of digits that added up to 10 would be a 1 here. That's the only way it could work. And we've already got a 1 in the column. So that's 7 or 8. And this digit, yeah, this, well, the way that we're getting to 10 here is not with a 3-cell sequence. Because once this digit is so large, you'd have to have a 1 in here as well, if it was a 3-cell segment adding up to 10. So it's a 2-cell segment adding up to 10, and this is a 2 or a 3. And this is a segment. I'm running out of different colours for my segment. That segment extends. It adds up to 10, and it can't be 2 digits here adding up to 3, because I can't use a 1. So it's 1 cell adding up to 3, and that is therefore 3. sorry if you're shouting at me about that. That's idiotic, I know, but anyway, it's true. And therefore, so I've now got some digits up here that are, well, they include 9. 9 is one of them. Okay. 9 can't go with 4. Oh, that's it. Right. So look at this collection of digits here. There's a 9 in one of them, and that's got to be made into a segment that adds up to 13. But it can't be 9, 4 because the 4's gone from the box. So it must be 9, 1, 3, and that therefore can't be a 3. So that's 2. That's 8. This is a 7, 9 pair. There's somewhere up here there is a 9, 1, 3 triple. And there's a 6, 7 triple, 6, 7 double as well. And I know where that goes. Oh my goodness. This is very original and absolutely brilliant. Yeah. That there is a 2-cell segment here, which is either at this side of the line or this side of the line, that adds up to 13, made up of a 6, 7 pair. Could it be here? That's the question. No, is the answer. Because in this box there is a 6, 7 pair that adds up to 13 that is either that one, the green, or the yellow. And if this goes horizontally, you cannot put a 6, 7 pair here. It's impossible. Because that one, and that one could not be 6, 7. And there's no horizontal pair in this box that adds up to 13 made up of 6, 7. So this is not 6, 7. This is 6, 7. This is 1, 3, 9. That's 3 in... That's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. So, oh, hang on. Why have I put 8 there? I meant to put 9. So that's a segment. This is a segment. I'm going to be reusing colours all over the place here, aren't I? I don't like that colour for a segment. Go for red. This isn't. There's a breaker segment here, so this is a new segment. There's a 3 over there. There's a 2 up there. Oh dear, I think I'm about to get stuck. I don't know that that's true, but it feels like I might be about to get stuck. I really don't want to think about box 6. Looks horrible because this one is going, it tips into box 5, then back into box 6 again, and this one goes off wandering down here. This one, yeah, so this one's going off into the Shire, this one's going off into Rohan, and I don't know what that means. What's this one? This is a sort of an offset domino that adds up to 13. So it's not 6, 7 anymore because of this 6, 7 pair. So this is either 5, 8 or 4, 9. Oh, okay. And that doesn't look too brilliant, does it? Aha. That is a 1-3 pair by Sudoku at the bottom of column 7. Look, we've got 3 and 1 here and 3 and 1 there. So we've got to put 3 and 1 down here. But again, we're dipping in and out of boxes down here. Oh dear, I don't understand. What does that mean? Is this... So far, everything's been fairly clear, hasn't it? Once we established that we were looking for 13 segments, it's been very beautiful to unwind the first 3 rows. So I suspect there is something clear. I just have to have the right thought. Now, how do I do that? And that is less clear to me. Maybe, I know that this one comes down here, don't I? So there is some, but that could just be a, oh, if that was a 7, that would be a 7. That would be a 9. A 9 is always either going to go with a 1-3 pair or just a 4 on its own. 7. So if that's 9, that's 7. That digit is either going to be a 3-1 pair, isn't it? Which would be very handy over there. 9-3-1. I mean, the 7 is either going to go. It can't. I suppose 7 can't go with 6 in box 1. That's okay. So the 7 is going with either. I mean, I don't think it can go with a 1, 2, 3. I'm saying that glibly without. That's not logical. It just feels like it couldn't do it. And now I've said that, I'm now wondering whether that is absolute bobbins. Because if 9 goes with 4, then 7 might be able to go with 1, 2, 3. That would leave 8, 5 behind. Oh, I tell you what you might not be able to do, and that's put 8. Yeah, you couldn't put 8, 5 there for the same reason you couldn't put 6, 7 there. So hang on. If I think it might be possible to prove that this is at least 2 cells. Maybe. I'm not sure, but I'm just thinking about if this was a naked old 7 here. That's a 7, that's a 9. The 9... If it's 9, 4 there, then the 7 has definitely got a 3 on its segment. So it would have to be 7, 1. Yeah, that doesn't work. Ah, okay, that definitely doesn't work. I can see that because the 7 and the 3 are on the same segment, and then you need some number of digits to add up to 3 after that. It's going to have to be a 1, 2 pair, and that's going to leave you with a horizontal 8, 5 in box 1. But what if this was 9, 3, 1? That's then the 7 is going to have to be... Ah, that doesn't work either. Because you still need 6 for the 7 line. 6 more, and you're going to have a 2, 4 pair. And you're going to end up with a 5, 8 pair there instead. Oh, this is vicious. Right, so this is a 2-cell segment at least. Let me show you. So what I've deduced is if this is 7, because that becomes 7 and that becomes 9, we have to think about how the 9 and the 7 are going to complete, bearing in mind that 8 is going to have to live in this box and cannot live in a horizontal 8-5 pair. That's the critical thing we've got to avoid. An 8-5 pair here or an 8-5 pair here is no use to man nor beast, because it will break box 2 and wherever the 8-5 is going in that box. So let's think about how we complete the 9. If we complete the 9 with 4, you can see that 3 is now on the 7 segment, because the 7 segment needs at least 2 digits with it to add up to the extra 6 it needs, because we can't just write 6 here. So now that segment is going to include a 3, whichever one of these is 3, and 2 more digits, which are going to have to be 1 and 2. So the segment would be that. It would be a 1, 2, 3, 7 segment, but that would be 5, 8 and break this box. It's complicated, this, actually. Now, if on the other hand it's 9, 3, 1, how are we making the 7 work? We need some total of more than 1 digit, so at least 2 digits that add up to 6. It's going to have to be a 2, 4 pair, because it can't be 1, 5 anymore. And that's going to make that 5, 8. And again, box 2 is going to break. So, all of this is a very long... Well, actually, I was going to say... Well, I'm going to go further, actually. The reason I started thinking about this is whether this could be a naked 7, and it definitely can't. So this is at least a domino now adding up to 7. Now, if it was a triomino adding to 7, this would be a 1 and this would be a 2, 4 pair. Right. So what that means is there is definitely a 2 in this domino, because either this is a 2-cell sequence adding up to 7, but it can't be 1, 6 or 3, 4, so it would have to be 2, 5. In fact, I might put it in. Or it's a 3-cell segment adding up to 7, in which case this is a 1 and this is a 2, 4 pair. So there's always a 2 in here. Now, what does that mean? I don't know, but I've just thought about something else in relation to box 1. The logic, I think, well, the logic that started with me writing 7 in here broke entirely in box 1, simply as a result of there being a 7 here. You cannot ever put the 9 here and the 7 here, because it just breaks, because you end up with a 5, 8 horizontal in box 1. So that is 7, that is 9. And now, now what does that mean is a good question. We know that the 7, I don't know, I don't know. I've still got the same conundrum here. I've got to be careful. Yeah, I think it's the same, but the other way around now. If the 9 went with a 3-1 pair, how would the 7 complete? It needs 2 digits to add up to 6 then, which would have to be 2 and 4, and we get the 5, 8 problem there. So it's not 9, 3, 1. So it is 9, 4. That's the only way that the 9 can complete. So that is a segment. I suspect that has to be 5, 8, but I'm not certain. Oh, actually, no, I really am not certain. Because could that be 1, 5, and then 8, 2, 3 here? Wow. Wow, okay. So I think either this works, you've got a 3 here and then a 2, 1 pair to add on to the 7. And this is 5, 8. Or you've got a 1, 5 pair here. And then this is 2, 3. That would be 3, and this would be a 2, 8 pair. I don't believe it. This is really difficult, actually. Sorry. Okay, so I don't know how to do that. Wow. Okay. I don't know what that means. Oh, well. I'm wondering if that means I know more than I thought I did about how the magenta line which has got to get 12 more worth of digits, doesn't it, in this box here. So hang on, let's think this through. So I've got 7 here, possibly here as well. Some number of digits that add up to 12. If it was 2 digits, that would have to look like that, wouldn't it? Well, no, sorry, it would have to look like that. I'm saying if it was 2 digits that add up to 12, but it couldn't be 4, 8 or 3, 9. So this would be 5, 7, and there would be a 3-cell segment there, which is 2, 4, 1, adding up to 7. So we'd have 2, 4, 1. How would you make the 9 work? That can't work. That's very complicated, but what I'm saying is, if it was a 2-cell segment adding up to 12 here, it would have to be 5, 7. This now has to be 2, 4 and a 1 here. And down here somewhere we've got a 9 that has to be part of a complete segment. And 9 only can complete and add up to 13 with a 4, which we've said is there, or a 1, 3, and I've said that's a 1. A part of the orange segment, so it doesn't work. So this segment is at least 3 cells adding up to 12, and it can't be 4 because it couldn't have a 2 in it. Oh, bingo! Right, because a 4-cell segment adds up to 12 in Sudoku is either 1, 2, 3, 6 or 1, 2, 4, 5. So this is a 3-cell segment adding up to 12. This is a 2 or a 3-cell segment adding up to 7. Yeah, no, we've got to be very careful here, because there's got to be, that mathematically, orange is adding up to 7, however big orange is. Magenta's adding up to 12, and we know how big it is. So those 2 segments together are adding up to 19, aren't they? Which means 26 is left over, which is definitely 2 complete segments. What's the minimum length of a segment in this puzzle? 2. We can never put 13 in one cell. So the 26 is going to have to be at least 2 dominoes worth. That would be 1 domino, that would be 2 dominoes. So orange is 2, orange can't extend here, because I couldn't fit 26 there. That's the simpler way of seeing it, isn't it? So this is 2, 5. And that's a domino, and this is a domino, and one of these domino, well, 5, 8 is not a part of either of these dominoes. So one of them is 6, 7, and I know which one it is because it can't be that one. So this is 6, this is 7, this is 4, 9. And these squares are 1, 3, 8, and 1, 3 and 8 do add up to 12. And in fact, that is an 8 because there's a 1 and a 3 looking at it. Now, oh please, yes, where are 1 and 3 in box 5 by Sudoku? 1's got to go there, 3 has got to go there. Oh, this is so clever. This is such a brilliant puzzle, honestly. It's really weird that this works. We're going to have to think about this in a second, but let's just take stock for a moment and check what, if anything, can we deduce from this. 4 is down here in box 7. 9 is down there as well. 6 is down here. We can probably do more magic than that, but I don't know how to do that magic yet. Let me just mull this over for a second or two. This row, what have we got left to put in it? 4, 6, 7, 9. They're all quite meaty old digits, they are, aren't they? So that's probably going to be important at some point. That's a complete segment. So there's a new segment starting here. Let's give that a colour. And that's going at least there, isn't it? Yes, it is. That is definitely true. And then there's a segment here which is green. And that's going at least 2. Ah. No, what I was about to say isn't true. So I refuse to say it, therefore. Well, hang on. Hang on. Yeah, that's fair. Where's 2 in row 6? And, sorry, the way to think about this is where's 2 in box 9? And the answer is I don't know, as so often. But 2 is not in those 2 cells. So 2, I think, is there. Now, yeah, that's beautiful. Right, so now what I want to do is to look at the yellow segment, this little segment here. Now, could that be could that have a third cell in it? No, because these 2 digits these 3 digits, if we did extend it to there, none of them could be 1, 2, and 3. So the minimum segment size would be if these would be 4, 5, 6, which is 15. 15 is more than 13. That's a knowledge bomb. So that is a complete segment, and there's a new segment that starts there and extends down here. Now that doesn't mean, unfortunately, I don't think, that we know that whether this segment is in there or not. We know that this is a segment. It's not a 6-7 segment. So it's either a 9-4 segment in this order, or it's a 5-8. Unfortunately, I think in either order. One of those things seems to be true. Now, I wish I could see. Oh, okay, I'll use the same. Yes, I'm going to use the same trick on red. Red here, if it extended another cell, none of those cells individually could be 1, 2, and 3. So it would be adding up to at least 15. So that is a segment, and it doesn't have 8 in it. And this can't be 6 or 7. So this is a 4-9. Oh, this is sensate. Oh, that's not going to give it to me, though, is it? Well, no, it is a bit. I've now got a 4-9 pair in row 6. So that isn't. So this is a 5-8 thingy now. This is not 4-9. So this is a 5-8 thingy. Thingy being the technical term for thinginess. Oh, look. This is sick. Right. I've got a 5-8 thingy here. Sort of the opposite of a quincunx, these 4 digits. But that digit's going to be the same as that one, isn't it? Because whatever this is has to go in that cell in box 6. So those 2 are the same. And by Sudoku, therefore, they've got to go in one of those 3 in column 9. So they've got to be 8. So these have got to be 5. Now, oh, this is lovely. That's 5, that's 4. This isn't 4 anymore. Okay, so these digits, well, they are from 4, 9, 6, 7, but that one is definitely not 4 or 9. That's definitely 6 or 7. And this one's definitely not 9. I think the big challenge is going to be working out whether or not this 2 can go in. I think 2, 4, 7 might work. But anyway, we're still in it. we still haven't completely and utterly blown the puzzle apart or broken it, which is the most important thing. There's an 8 here. 8 in one of those. I don't think that matters. Actually, it does a bit. Where's... Yeah, where's 8 in box 1 is a question. I think it's got to be there. The reason for that is, in my mind, I have hypothecated those two cells for this 7 at least, because this 7 can't just have 6 to add on to it. It's at least 2 digits adding up to 6 it needs, and it might be 3 if it's 321, Dusty Bin. So if it's Ted Rogers, it goes round the corner, and if not, it's those two. But 8 is never in those, and 8 is not there. So 8 is there. So 8 is not there. 8 is in one of 2 cells in box 7. And what does this mean? I don't know. But it probably means something. Where is 2 in box 5? The answer is in one of 2 places, which is quite interesting. Where is... So this digit is quite a chunky old digit now, isn't it? That digit is not 1, 2, or 3, or 5. So it's 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm looking at these 3. I mean, those 3 can't be the same segment, because they'd add up to at least 17. So there's definitely a segment break there. I just don't know where it is. I suppose the same exact logic is applying there. There's a segment break there as well. This segment, oh, why unique? Well, I won't use uniqueness, but we can see it's not 5, 8. So it's either 6, 7 or 4, 9. And we can see, actually, if it was 6, 7, the puzzle wouldn't be unique, because this little collection would be only having 6s and 7s in it. And whether the 6s were there or there, the puzzle's own internal logic would not resolve. So I suspect this is going to be 4, 9, but I haven't proved it yet. That's definitely not 4, actually, is it? That's definitely not 9. That is something we can say. Okay, so is there any low-hanging fruit? I'm not sure. This is its own segment. There's some new segment here, but it's going there. And if that isn't a 2, well, you could easily have a 2 in those segments, couldn't you? So this, I think the question I'm going to have to resolve somehow is whether or not this 2. I don't know how to do this, actually. Sorry, I know I'm being dumb. I really, really don't intend to be dumb, but I feel like I am being dumb, and that's an awful thought. It's going to have to be some way of resolving, you know, whether this 3-1 is part of a segment in box 5 or joins to a segment in box 7. But how do I do that in any sort of way that's going to make sense? Or maybe that, I don't know, is the short answer. So, I'm not sure how to do this. So it's no, I really am not sure. Sorry. Oh, I'll tell you something I could do. That must be fair. Where a Sudoku might save me here. Where's 9 in box 9? 9 can't be there. Why 9 can't be there? So I think that's 9 and that's 4. That is going to save me. That's going to save me. Because now these two already add up to 13. So that is a 9. And that's going to give me a whole sequence of digits. This is 4, 6, 7. So this digit, the middle digit of the puzzle, is really a great big old digit now. But the double green, right, so now, yeah, this is lovely. Right, there's a new segment that started in this cell. Let's, I'll use black. Now, clearly this is a new segment. It's just begun after this 13 green total. So it's got to go there. Now, could it stop here is the question we need to ask. And the answer is clearly no, because this would have to be an 11 for those two to add up to 13. So we are going and we're taking this digit, which is a 9, which means we've got 11 on our segment now. So what on earth is this digit? It has to be 2, and there is a 922 segment. That is not 2. And beautifully now, we've got a new segment starting here, taking in this cell and taking in this cell, and none of these digits can be 1, 2, or 3. So this must be a domino that therefore must be 6, 7. And now this has to be 4, and it's the same logic again, frankly, because once that is a 6, 7, it's the same sort of flavour as this. These 3 digits, if they were a segment, they would add up to too many. So it must be 2 digits, and the middle digit of the puzzle is a 9. And now this is an 8, and this is all part of a segment. And look. That's 12. So this is a 1. Oh, it's just sensational. So that's purple, part of this segment. That is a segment. I should have been consistent with my colours for the various dominoes, shouldn't I? I haven't done that at all, but never mind. Yeah, look, this is a 6 or a 7. So this segment has to be 4, 9 now, and we know the order. So that's 4, that's 9, that's 9, that's 1. So 1 is getting on towards the corner of the puzzle. I'll think about what that means in this box in a moment, but let's think this through. So there's now an 8 in one of those, which means there's a 5 on the opposite side of the Harlequin here, pairing up with the 8 to make 13. And that digit's going to be in one of those, and that digit's going to be in one of those. Oh, I don't know. I'm not sure how. Okay, I was going to think about this, wasn't I? So if this is 7, 3, 1, 2, that would be 5, 8. That would be 8 there, 5 there, and that would resolve everything. But the other alternative is this. This is 7, 1, 5. 1 here, 5 here. 3, 8, 2. I don't know, that might be fine as well. Oh, I've got a 1 here though. So I've got a 1 here, I've got a 3 here. Maybe that will help me. Now I've got 1 in the corner. Does that help? I don't know that it does. I think this digit is now 3 or 5, depending on whether this is a 3 cell or, well, 3 more cells or 2 more cells to complete this line. My goodness. My goodness, I don't know. Okay, what about that column then? Maybe that's where I meant to look. 2, 5, 7 to finish it. Now what about that one? That's definitely not 7, is it? So that's 2 or 5. So there is definitely a 7 down here. And that's about as useful as a chocolate teapot. Oh, I've got a 1. Oh, my phone's buzzing. That's fine. Is it that time already? I've got an 8 down here. So there's a 1, 8 pair at the bottom of box. Well, at the bottom of column 6. So that digit's a 6 or a 7 by Sudoku. And probably, well, can we do maths now on box 9 actually? Now we know that that's a 9. We've got 17's worth of digits. And so we've got 28 by the secret left to put in. Now 28 means that there's going to be 2 segments coming from here that add up to 26. No, hang on, this is actually, let's be careful here, because it depends what that digit is. Ooh. No. This is weird. This is weird logic. Okay. Right. Okay, here's a question. How could this be a 1? Now, if this is a 1, my maths is telling me that these digits add up, I think, to 27. Because I'm going to have 18 there, 45 is the total for the box. So these digits, which are a contiguous and continuous segments along the line, add up to 27, which means there will be 2 continuous sequences left and then 1 left over. So if this is a 1, that's a 1 as well, in order for the maths of the box to work, and that can't be true. So that must be 3, this must be 1, that's 1, that's 8. That's 8 apparently. Yeah, that feels right, that, because I remember putting that pencil mark in. Right, let's now revisit. I'm going to revisit the colouring here and think about it again now that this is a 3. Because now what I've got in those cells is 20, which means these add up to 25, don't they? Which isn't quite enough. So right, so this one is the 26th cell, or 26th. It's the digit that makes 2 segments add up to 26. So there's a segment break here. That's what we've just learned. Let's make those the same and this different. So that's definitely blue. I mean, I've total Horlicks of how I'm trying to divide the lines up, but hopefully you get the idea. So this segment here is adding up to 12, so it's clearly going at least to those 2, isn't it? Definitely. And I was wondering if there was going to be a problem with this, for example, being a 6-7 pair, but that doesn't immediately look impossible. There's definitely a 5 down here. How on earth do you do this? Is it? Do I have to pencil mark? Maybe I do. 2, 4, 6, 7 down there. 2, 4, 6, 7. But I don't. I mean, I know so little about the bottom 3 rows. So I've got something new here, going in there, and possibly going there as well. But I don't know about that. So this is the key cell. I mean, oh no, that's just not true what I was about to say. I mean, if that's green, it's got to be a little cell. It really does. But if it's not green and it belongs to those, I don't know. I'm sorry, I can't. I mean, there might be some crystal clear logic there that I can't see what it is. All right, let's try this one then. So this is a 3. It joins up with this one. So there's some number of digits along here that add up. Okay, how many digits along this line add up to the 10 extra that we need for this segment? Now, if it was 3 digits that add up to 10 without using a 1 have to be 2, 3, 5, but that's a 6 or a 7. That won't work, so it's got to be a domino. that adds up to 10. And this digit is 3 or 4, and we are going to not know. No, we don't know. That's rotten. Okay, bobbins. Okay, that's not good. But then, so we've got a new segment starting here. We'll make that segment orange. That's got to go there. Obviously, there are no one cell segments. Probably it bounces back in here as well, but we don't know about that yet. And therefore, wow, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know how to do that. That's not a 3. There is a 3 looking at it. So 3 is in one of 2 places. There's this 8 sort of marooned. I mean, the wandering that Aragorn's doing down here is bizarre. This is sort of, yeah, this is excessive, one would say. It's probably Sudoku, isn't it? That's most likely going to be what I've not grokked here. But where? Is 8 and 6 can't go together in this column. That's 14. So the 8 is next to a 6, but it's going to have to go in the other direction. So if that was a 6, the 8's going to have to go. It's going to have to go that way. But it could just be a 5, couldn't it? I think. If it was just a 5 with the 8, these would be a 2-3 pair. That would fix my box 1 issues. But if it's not just a 5, then the 8 needs 2 digits that add up to 5, which can't be 1, 4, so it would be a 2-3 pair. Well, that couldn't be there, because then that digit would have to be a 13. Because if that is a segment, what's this digit? That's not part of purple. That already adds up to 13. It wouldn't be part of green, so that would be a 13. So that definitely is not what's happening. Ooh, the 2, 3 is not there. 8, 2, 3 there would put 2 5s into column 1. So the only way 8 goes with 2 and 3 is if that is a 2, 3 pair. And that doesn't work. Oh, good grief, this is beautiful. And the reason for this, let me just explain. If that's 8, 2, 3, what's this 3 cell segment given this is a 6? This domino has to add up to 7, but it doesn't use 1 and it doesn't use 2 and 3, so the minimum it can be is 4, 5, and that's more than 7, so it doesn't work. That is absolutely ridiculous. So now this is a 5, 6 pair, because the 8 cannot be made up with a 2, 3 pair. So that's 8, 5, 6, and that's going to do wonders. 2, 3. So this segment's not finished. It's got to go there. That's got to be 5. That's got to be 8. That's got to be 8. That's got to be 5. I was going to say that resolves the 6 7s, but somehow it doesn't. I think it will. I just need to focus on it. I'll do that in a moment. There's now a 2 7 down here, which is probably exciting. This is a 5. So the bottom, right, what's the bottom of 3, 4, 9 is what we've got down here. And we've got a new segment starting there. So, oh no, that could be 3, 4, 6 actually. Oh no, and it could be 4, 9. I don't believe it. How can it keep working both ways round? It's ridiculous. Okay, let's try this column then, which I've noticed now has a 6, 7 pair in it. So these digits are 3, 4, 5, and that's not a 3. That's rather cute. Right, look at this column and ask where 5 is. And the answer, as so often, is we don't know. But we do know it's in a domino at the bottom of the column. And so is the 5 at the bottom of column 9. So a question we could ask is, where is 5 now in row 7? Because it can't be here, it can't be here, it can't be there, so it's got to be here. And that is now a segment. Oh, hang on, be careful. Just that digit. This is now a 6, which is not doing as much as I hoped. But this is now a 2-cell segment, adding up to 13. So that doesn't include 3. That's got to be 4 and 9. And we will do that. That's therefore a 3. So that's a 3, so that's a 7. Remember, we worked out they had to add up to 10. So that's doing some work on my 6s and 7s. Come on. We're not that far now, I don't think, from making good progress here. We've got 9 on a segment. Well, it can't be another 7, so that's got to be a 2. And now this digit, now we've got 11, and that has to be a 2. That's the only way it can work. So that's a 7. It's still trying to be recalcitrant, isn't it? That's not a 2. What's going on in this row? It must be resolved. I've got far too many digits in it. That's not 7. So this is a 4, 5, 6 triple. This is 9. This is 4. That's not 4 anymore. It's also not 7, I hasten to add. And in fact, where's 2 in the row? That's the simpler way of looking at it. So that's 2. That's 6. This is not 3. So this is a 4, 5 pair, and this should be a 9. I mean, we must be really... So we worked out that was a segment, didn't we? Let's put that in. Right, oh no, hang on, be careful, Simon. Be very careful, actually. Well, yes, going backwards, there's a 9 here. That can't go with 5 from this. So that's got to be a 4, and that's how that will resolve. So that's a segment. And then it's beautiful, because then the 8 and the 5 resolves, and that's a segment. And hopefully this is now going to resolve what we've got going on in this box here. So we've now got, so we've got 13 there, and 5, 6 and 2 rather beautifully slotting in there add up to the correct number, and the 8 and the 5, obviously they've always been outside the puzzle. Oh, we haven't done this part. So that's 9, that's 4. We know that's a segment at the top there, and we know that's a segment there. And that must be correct. There's no way there's no way that can be totally and utterly fortunate. That is oh, thank you for wandering through this grid with me. I hope you enjoyed it. My goodness me, I did. That is a sensationally good puzzle, Allagem. Brilliant. Absolutely loved it. Let me know. It's very clever, especially that stuff around the beginning. I loved the fact it looked a bit hopeless, but then you can really do work with row 3. Let me know in the comments how you got on. I enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.